Hello everyone and welcome to League of Europe F123 here for Season 11, Division 3 and Round 9 here at Las Vegas 3 circuit here with 19 drivers and a fair way into the season already. I'm QPR Verstappen. I'm going to be guiding you through this and hopefully we're in for a great race here today. I said the 9th round of the championship and we have two main protagonist in the championship currently, by the name of Kamke, who's leading at 186 points after his second place last time out in Australia. This obviously was a bit of a messy race. Eventually, after some penalty removal, Steban ended up getting the win ahead of Kamke and MCR, who's second in the championship, 14 points behind, 172. And then it's quite close in the reins behind with Ryan B, Matt, Steban, all covered by 9 points on 115, 109 and 106 respectively. So a lot to play for. Obviously still 6 races to go, including a sprint weekend next time out in Spa as well. So plenty of opportunities to still gain points. Just for reference, we have a few qualifying bans here today. RT Crack and Axel are both, I think, on qualifying bans. Yes, that would be correct. In the meantime, Major Falcon has left the league because he was fed up and couldn't handle not winning. So Sway Ross will be replacing him full-time in the Mercedes from this race onwards. And as we can see right now, it's looking dry for the qualifying. Obviously, we had a wet race last week out in Australia at Albert Park, and that caused for quite an amount of chaos. Hopefully we get a little bit cleaner racing. Obviously Las Vegas, it's a track with a lot of straight, high straight line speeds at the end, but you also need some downforce for the somewhat twistier sections. So I'm on board with Serial Killer, who's reserving in the Aston. We've seen a few inters and wets here and there, probably just being selected for the sake of that. Flip now from the first one out on track. So far an okay-ish season. But a lot of DNFs have not really helped him that much. Still a lot to play for. He's currently 16th in the championship. Definitely got some potential to do better than that, I think. He's got the pace for it. So let's see if he can do it. Obviously, yeah, I said Las Vegas is a very, very difficult track. Track with low amount of grip. And that can cause some issues every now and then. At the same time, you do need the straight line speed, so if you have to kind of almost drive with little downforce anyway, around a track which doesn't have much grip in the first place. So that makes it quite difficult. Now we'll have to see, and obviously this 2 kilometer long straight here is the main overtaking opportunity. There's a few others, then towards turn 1 for example. There's a very good opportunity there as well, but this one will be mainly used, I reckon. We'll have to see as we head on board with the Williams, as he heads all over the curve. Very high curves here, the final chicane. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I think he's actually backed off his lap and he's going back into the pits. So we might see Energetics going for a lap. I think we do, so let's go on board with him. As he heads down towards turn 1 and 2, there's a double left apparently. Holding 4th gear to keep the traction down, 5th, switch it back towards the inside. Again, a double right for example. I only see 2 corners myself, but that's how it is with another DRS zone here. Getting those speeds already up, so you can see that at the bottom, 342 there for the Dutchman. They go very deep into turn 5, nearly hitting the wall. I think he just got away with that as he heads through turn 6 here and down into turn 7. 3rd gear, difficult track as we head into 8. Have to keep it steady here. Make sure you don't mess it up. The exit of turn 9 is one more important as we head to the sector 1 split here. Long sector 1 at least on the game. 44.7. Let's see how that fares around among other cars and drivers. For turn 11. 10 and 11 very much flat, 12 definitely not, as you can see. Energetics struggling a lot with there, and that's not the only one we'll see probably having some issues there. On the exit of 12 for the long gain of 13, as IT Crack is now retired in a bit. We'll hope to see Axel doing that as well. That's the sector 2 split at 1:11.2, and we see the speeds here. 3:54 roughly topping out at the Dutchman in the Ferrari. Go very deep into the chicane and too deep, and that has energetics out of the session here. So he weirdly slammed the throttle on as he was already too deep, so I'm not quite sure what that was about, but a mistake there, and showing how deadly this track can be. We're seeing Swip, I think, in the end of a lap. So yeah, it's coming through turn 17 here, this last little kink, short to the line, and across the line of 1:33.5. I reckon we'll see better as his teammates just coming across the line to start a lap. Zero Killer just in behind, 34.2, a little bit slower then. And I think that is Ultimate Mr. Pro, 35.9, with equals Matt with a 33.2, solid lap there for the Alpine, but I think we're going to see quicker as his teammates comes across the line and improves to 33.1. And one of the ripples, Ryan B, not quite on a competitive lap just there yet. Mr. Wouter improves massively, 32.2. That's more I was expecting, with Sway Ross getting himself in the middle of that, 32.7. And James had slightly better than his new teammate, the 32.6 there for the Brit. He's put himself into P2, solid lap there. I'm gonna look a bit further back. I think one of the Williams drivers, that will be NSX Bosnia. Let's see if he's race with a GR Shadow Glow from D1. So he head through this final chicane. Let's see how it's gonna go. Ibo just up ahead, who will be setting a lap as well. With a 36.2, slightly behind his teammate. Bosnia across the line. A 32.5 is solid a lap to start out with, and he's into P2. Good lap there. Slayer is another one coming for the second chicane, very tight there, just about making it through. Let's see how he's going to set himself up to go across the line. Don't think it's quite at the top, around P8, a bit further down, P9, 34.6. I think I'll be hoping to improve a bit more later on. Harnowar is another one on a lap, as well as maybe Ryan B. Actually, he's on the inters, just noticed, so that's not going to be representative. So Harnowar just navigating his way on the straight, 11.2. It's probably going to put him around the Alpines, I reckon. Heading down into the final chicane, you can see how difficult it is. Hitting that curb is ideally not what you want to do. You kind of want to go around the left one, then hit the right one, and then obviously try and accelerate it out as well as you can. Let's see if the Ferrari is going to put himself into a decent position. P8 here, I think, with some time in the bag as well. Should be enough opportunities for him to do and get himself back up there. MCR, one of the title protagonists so far. Not to the lap yet, neither has his fellow as the championship leader, Kamke, P16. We're gonna have to see if they can fare their way around here. This is obviously a very difficult track, especially if you're on a controller on the pad. It can be quite a challenging track. You need to be very precise, especially with worn tires. It's gonna feel like absolutely ice out there. So we're gonna see if the Spaniard can get himself into a competitive position. Here he goes. Often one of the best in qualifying as he heads through turn 1 and 2. Acceleration quite decent. Looks to be attacking the corners quite a lot. 6th gear coming through there. DRS open. This might be other gears, I'm not too sure actually. Then towards turn 5 here. 90-degree corner. Can be quite deceiving. It's easy to slide in there. But it looks pretty decently taken there by MCR. And this is maybe the most difficult braking zone if you don't have ABS. I found out myself. Practically sliding into it at every given opportunity. And there again, sliding is MCR as well. But accelerating out of turn 9, let's see what the split time is. At 44.5 is definitely not too bad. Says it's purple, we'll have to see if that's going to prove to be true. Then towards turn 12, another corner, which is completely so difficult there. But again, seems quite decently done. So let's see what the split time here is going to be. We saw Hardenberg with a low 1:11. Ideally, I reckon you want to be in the 1:10s to challenge for the top positions. And MCR does that, 1:10.6. Let's see if he can beat Mr. Wout this time. He's going to have to do a good last chicane. clattering the curb a little bit much on the left, I think. The right looked decent there. And then down towards the line, let's see where the Spaniard's going to put himself on his first run. Just going left here, get it tight. And a 32.9, only puts in P5 so far. I think some more time to be gained there for him. Let's have a look as both Red Bulls are starting their laps. Ryan B obviously only done a lap on the Inters, probably to save tires, I imagine. He's the first of the two that's actually going to do competitive time now. Cam K as well, warming up the tires on this long straight. So those two, as well as Swayros on another lap, we're going to have to keep an eye out on. Ryan B coming through turn 6 now. Again, this approach is very difficult. You have to brake in a straight line. Get yourself lined up. Hold second gear here. Back down to second for turn 9. Accelerate out of it. Looks pretty decently done. I'd imagine it's a pretty quick split time. Yeah, 44.4, slightly quicker than what MCR was doing. Let's see as we head through turn 10, 11 and 12. We have another one of these corners. It's very difficult to navigate. Goes pretty deep, but keeps the speed going. It's quite important. Let's see how it's gonna fare here then. Obviously this is just straight line speed, which you can abuse, I found. A few cars on the left here. But hopefully he can get through. It's 110.4, it's pretty quick here. If he can get this last chicane right up P2, definitely. I reckon this in it for him. Looks pretty decently, and that's more what I'd imagine someone trying to do that chicane nicely is doing. So let's see how the Red Bull is gonna fare on the times here. Yeah, P2 it is, 32.4 there for the Red Bull. I think he'll be very happy with that one so far. First proper run. Swayros has backed off his lap. We've seen a few other cars here. Serial Killer with one of the Alfa Romeos, a Ferrari, and Cam K as well. We'll have to look into. See what the Aston's doing. We're going to judge him on the Sector 2 split. Obviously not made too many appearances this season just yet, at least as far as I recall. Especially recently. 11.2 is decent, no 3/10 up. We're going to have a look at Cam K, it seems to be the next one on the lap. 10.2 is a very good split time. I reckon we're going to might see a new quickest time there. Zero heads for the last few corners. And we're going to see if he can do that. So he heads for the final corner, 33.8, only time improvement. Cam K, let's see if he's managed to do the final sector properly. Yes, he has, and to the top he goes, 32.253 for the Red Bull there. Good lap. And again, for a first run, showing why he's up there. Very good done. Very good lap actually there. Esteban is 5/10 up though, so we're going to have to see if he can get himself up there. Usually quick in qualifying, maybe don't run his luck too much recently, but got the win last week, so let's see if this is a better time. If he's about 5/10 up, he could get himself around Bosnia, Ryan B sort of territory, across the line, bit lower down between the Mercedes cars in P6 at 32.7. Definitely not too bad though. I don't think he can complain too much, but might be trying to find a little bit more in that. Harner Wark, next one, 3/10 up through sector 1. 44.5 is a solid time there. We've seen blips of pace here and there from the Greek driver. I'm going to see if we can find it again today. DRS again open here. See, it's down towards the sector 2 split. Obviously, this long straight is going to provide so many overtaking opportunities. And at 10.6, 6/10 up, not too bad. If we can find some time in the last sector, let's go on board with him. It's going to be a decent time is for him. Goes around the first curve nicely, keeps the speed, keeps it clean at least. I think we could maybe see him creep towards MCR's time potentially. See, he heads across the line here, 32.9, yeah, exactly. Slightly ahead of MCR there, and P8 there for the Ferrari. And the Haas car of Swip, 2/10 up as well. Lose a little bit in the final sector, but slight improvement there for Swip. Don't think he can complain too much about that one. Looking around, Bosnia just starting a lap there. Kamke, I think, is just heading back into the pits. Most drivers just trying to figure their way out. Slayer was up on this time, but I think he messed up the final chicane because there's a wing miss in there for the Haas. It's 1.2 up on a 10.9 split sector time, which would have put him probably around equals Mats' time if he did the second sector decently. So we'll have to look. Only one on the lap currently is NSX Bosnia. He's just been searching for that race win all season. I can't lie, I don't know exactly if he's up there and got one. Yes, not yet this season. I think he won here last season, and he's a 44.1, is a very good split time there actually. Let's see if that's going to continue down in towards sector 2. Brake late, third gear, looks to carry some decent speed there, the Williams. This could be a solid lap from the Williams. ERS open. And across the split time. Obviously, due to the wing difference, he can run here. As a 10.1 is a very good time. 310s up here. This could be near pole position. We can see some different split times here and there. Someone will be very quick in sector 1, the other will be very quick in sector 2. So he hops across the curb nicely. A little bit scruffy, but I think he kept enough momentum. So let's see if he can get himself ahead of Kamke's time, trying to take the tightest line possible. Yes. 32.5. No, the last sector just wasn't good enough. That's where he's missed out here, and it might be done in terms of qualifying for him. I'm just trying to figure that out. It's the yellow flags are covering the time currently on my screen. Yeah, 2 minutes 40. That's not gonna work in these unless he has enough fuel to go again and somehow get his tires to work. I don't see it happening. So Bosnia might be done for this session. Both Alfa Romeos are just starting their laps, as well as James Head and one of the Mercedes anyway. Don't know if it's James Head or Sway. That is James Head. I think Mats as well starting the lap. So we got a few here. Get on. Astapura is already invalidated though, strangely enough. So that's not ideal, you'd say. Let's have a look at Eagles and Mats here. Try to mind Evo. You don't want to catch him on the lap. He's got very wide there, the Alpine. Seems to carry some momentum. I don't think he was using ERS. I'm not too sure. Didn't look to be used until the line, anyway, given his percentage is quite high still. And we're quite deep into turn 5. Obviously, he didn't get to run down towards turn 1, so strange decision. We'll have to see. So you can derate a little bit at the end of the lap, but I honestly take that over not getting the benefit to start. Let's see how Mattis fared without it. 44.8, slightly up, but not quite too competitive. James has backed off of his lap, I think. Yep. So he's gonna have to try go again if he has enough fuel. Matt's just coming through down towards the sector 2 split. A lot of traffic here, but luckily it's a straight, so it should be pretty decently possible to not be in the way of someone, you'd imagine. So the cars look to be doing that. One of the Red Bulls still trying to get ahead. 310s up now, Matt. Get himself in the 32s at least. Breaking late down towards the chicane. Getting very close to the walls there. Again there on the exit, but looks to have carried the speed through. Maybe down towards his teammate, you'd imagine. As he takes the tight line. Across the line he goes. 32.9. Puts himself in between Harry Noirk and MCR in P9. As everyone is just starting their final lap. James Head, I think, is going to go again. Try to see if he has enough left. Looking around, Bosnia is just going to go into the pits, obviously. And I think that's going to be it. So let's have a look at the MCR. Not everyone has gone out. It's definitely towards the back, especially Flip Namstrom. We saw on track very early and just kind of decided not to do a lap, which, I mean, you do you, I guess, but it's not ideal here around Vegas. You do want some track position. Let's see MCR. Slightly up on his time, but not a massive improvement. He's going to have to find it in the last sector then. Later on the brakes. Taking the curb quite a bit. Cuts that one nicely. As he heads down towards the final corner. Let's see across the line if he can do it. The flag has been pressed out. And across the line he goes. 42.7 as Mr. Wouters crashed out, so he's not going to improve. P6 it is for MCR for the time being. Sway Rosso with a very good lap at 32 flat there. Puts himself into provisional pole position. He'll be happy with that one. Ryan B, on the other hand, is 4 tenths up for sector 2. Has he gained enough time in the last sector to try and dismantle that Mercedes from the front position, from the first position? Here he goes across the line. Not quite. 32.1. He's going to have to settle for P2 for now. Esteban into P3. Good lap there for the Alpine. Put himself up there. Cam K only with a slight improvement, unless he finds some time in sector 3. This is going to be a marginal improvement. Across the line. Here he goes. The American. And it does find some time. 32 flat. Great lap there for Cam K. James Head is done. And it's only Harnoark that could do it, but he goes into the pits. Mats is already done. So that's going to be Cam K on pole position. Extra point from the championship. And more importantly, his championship rival currently is in 8th position. So I think this is practically a perfect place for Cam K to be going forward into the race. I think he'll be very happy about that one. Pulled that lap out the last minute. And getting actually a very good last sector will have helped him get that pole position. Top 5 all very close. Mr. Wouter, you'd imagine what he could have done hadn't he crashed out, because obviously that 32.2 was set on pretty early in the session. But yeah, he crashed out, I think, on the exit of turn 12. And that just cost him there. And let's have a look for the rest of the starting grid. Cam K in pole position, then with Sreywas alongside him. Ryan B in P3, that'll be vital for Cam K as well, trying to help him out potentially. Steven in P4, Mr. Wout at P5, then it's Bosnia in 6th, with James Head and MCR split in the 4th row. Then it's 7th and 8th, Harnoark and Mats running at the top 10, and also running at the 32. The drivers that were in the 32s anyways. Swip in 11th, then Serial Killer in 12th, Slayer 13th, Mr. Pearl 14th, and Ippo 15th. With Flip in 16th, not sitting a lap out voluntarily. Crack and Axel with Claudia Bans 17th and 18th, and then Energetics crashing out in his first lap in 19th position. That's going to be it for the grid today. And obviously in terms of tyres, we're going to have seen some very interesting details here, because all tyres are quite viable here, I reckon. I found that the mediums usually work pretty well, but I've also heard other drivers say that they don't work well for him at all. So, you know what, it's maybe a bit of personal preference, see what you're comfortable with, what tyres you do have left in terms of used quality tyres as well. So Ryan B obviously voluntarily doing a lap on Inters, so you'd imagine there's no rain, and the drivers are actually just choosing to maybe use softs in the race. It's going to be interesting to see. So yeah, just loading in. Obviously mandatory 2-stop as always. It'll be obviously interesting to see who's going to do what at the front especially. So you want to get maybe some track position, try and get away with a group of you. So you've got a pretty odd starting grid here obviously. We're going to have a look at the tires. No one has opted for the hards. Majority on softs, with a few on the mediums in actually everywhere in the grid. I think 7 medium runners, yeah. With Mr. Wouter and P5 on the mediums. James and MCR in 7th and 8th, also both on mediums. Serial Killer in 12th and 13th on mediums, as we have a few people not moving off their lines and getting disqualified for hitting each other probably. Crack in 17th and Axel in 18th, also both on the mediums. Everyone else I haven't mentioned is on the soft tire. So let's see how that's gonna go. So down towards the first sector, this is gonna be very interesting. You approach with about 340 kilometers an hour down towards turn 5, which is mainly the point I'm concerned slightly about. I'd imagine knowing braking points can be quite difficult there. Let's hope that all happens pretty cleanly here. 25 laps here, obviously pretty long circuit. I think 6 kilometers if I'm not mistaken. It's obviously possible race strategy. It says soft, medium. Could be soft, medium. I could see some hards being thrown in as well, though they're a bit more difficult to warm up. But in the case of safety cars, definitely an option here. But they do take a bit to heat up, on track there. So we'll have to see. And then now, especially with Crack, Axel, and Energetics, they're not going to have anything in terms of feeling going down towards turn 1. I think it might be best to just take it easy and try and avoid all the chaos. Maybe gain a few positions that way and then go from there. Actually, it is Vegas, there will be chaos. So let's hope that all goes well and done. Scamk taking a very slow pace here on this formation lap. We're going to have to see if he can get away early, if his quality pace translates to the race. It usually does for him. So I think he's done very well to get himself at least up there. That's to making sure I'm all hydrated anyway. Don't want to be dehydrated for the race start. We're going to have a quick look who is going to do that. I think MCR taking a different strategy here could prove vital for him. We're going to have to see. So you see here the cars lined up already. I'm going to see how Camk is going to do that. Obviously a few cars towards the back will be a bit in the curve actually. Making a very weird starting grid it can be. But let's see. So you see one of the Alpes just creeping forward and forward there. Tire to work. Didn't get up there as well. But we're going to see the 5 red lights come on and out. It's a bit of an odd camera angle, but it's not the worst one I've seen so far. So let's see. So we can see 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go in the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And looks like Camke's had a pretty good start, but Ryan B has even got a better one on the outside there. He's trying to get into P2. Camke in P1, holding on to that with the second and third side by side here down towards turn 3 and 4. Looks like Swayros has held on to the position. Few squabblings down here. Serial Killer's up at the P8 even. Between Swip down the back now. Serial Killer gaining a few positions here. James had losing quite a few early on. He's down into P10. And the braking zone into turn 5 can be very, very difficult. We've seen one of the Ferraris losing a bit of grip. That's Harry work down in 13th. But all in all, relatively cleanly done here. As I do say that, one of the Haas drivers, that Slayer, going way too deep into turn 6, and Energetics has stopped once again on track. You might want to try and press the accelerator there, mate. Just looking for his deltas have not fully been accurate here. I've seen obviously Bosnia is not as close to Steven as the delta says it is. Hopefully that resorts itself, but lap 2 is always a bit of a mess on that. The cam case looks to have a sizable gap, looks to be about a second actually. So with this we have more yellow flags. Energetics has once again had an issue there. Seeing Ryan B closing up to Swayros, but thinking better of it down towards the chicane. So a very difficult break on his own, as Swayros himself proves, goes too deep and has to concede that position to Ryan B here. And then the P3 goes, making a Red Bull 1-2 for now. MCR's had a good start and he's trying to make up more positions here. He's on the back of Bosnia, who's on the back of Steven down towards turn 1. Have to be careful here. That looks all fairly decently done. Slayer is heading into the pits, I think. Potentially having some damage there. MCR closed him back up, but he doesn't seem to be able to get through just yet. On those mediums though, a good start is very vital. James has gone through on Serial Killer in P9 now. I've seen Axel as well from a qualifying ban having a very good start, as well as RT Cracked up to 13th. They've made a few good positions there. Axel onto P11 even. You've seen at the front that Ryan B doesn't seem to be able to keep up with his teammates so far. Camke looks to be absolutely waltzing away here. 1.1 seconds is sensitive delta. I'm not going to take that fully, but you can see on the track map that both Red Bulls have kind of pulled away respectively from their pack, as Huayros seems to be the one struggling here. Steven also on that exit, not too great, and Bosnia looks to want to capitalize on that. Closing up to the back of the Alpine here. Let's see down the straight if you can get him. Obviously a lot of speed, already 330 km/h, and we haven't even reached the back of the straight just yet. See more action in behind as well. It looks like it's all going to follow single file. Bosnia backing out of the move here, all following each other pretty sweetly. Axel's managed to get himself into the top 10 ahead of Sirica, who's already derating on lap 2. Now, if you got one thing impressive, that is definitely it with Cam K fast lap the race, which is then taken away by Ryan B. at a 35.9. We could be happy with that one. MCR is looking for the move on Bosnia, scaring Bosnia to go a bit deep, and maybe he can get himself underneath there, but he has to back out of that one. Big moment there for Bosnia on the exit, and he's going to back out now. Might be under pressure down towards turn 5, who is as well. It's Sueros. Steban is going to get alongside and get himself into P3. And he's late enough on the brakes and clean enough on the brakes. Well done, Mats, Mr. Wouter, side by side. James is as well getting involved here for P8, but he thinks better of it, backs out as we have a virtual safety car. And I'm not quite sure what the reason is for that. It might be energetics to some degree, I'd imagine. As he is changing his wings, I'd imagine there's a fairly good chance it's him. He's going to go into hard for a second stop of the race in lap 3. You know what? Might not have been the best start for him today. Maybe he can at least finish on these tires. Who knows? I've seen people do it in D1 roughly from this point in the race, so it's definitely possible. But that means VSC. Now, is it interesting if this VSC lost a pit? I think it can be. We're going to have to see though. Wait it out a little bit. Let's see if anyone actually opts for it. I think it would be an interesting point. The softs don't last that long. I wouldn't be surprised if I see someone go in. Ripples are staying out both. Steven's staying out. Sueros, everyone's staying out here. I think actually someone went into the pits. That is Sueros. He looked like he was gonna stay in. Sueros and Bosnia are the two that are opting for the pits as well. Tire work. With Mr. Burr picking up a 5-second speeding under the VSC. I think I see Sueros actually having damage and repairing that. Bosnia coming out on the hards. He doesn't look to have any damage. Bosnia's in the one to keep an eye out on. Harnoark has gone to hards. Sueros has gone to mediums. Mr. Burr has gone to sods. We're seeing fight in between Axel and Flip Namstrom. Flip Namstrom going way too deep, and Axel's out of the race. Flip is out of the race. And yeah, just from the short moment I caught that, we had out a safety car. So Bosnia has been actually a bit screwed a little bit. Obviously the delta will be roughly the same, so he might get out back into like P3, 4, 5, roughly. Once everyone pits, which I imagine everyone does. But just from the short moment I caught that, Flip just absolutely outbroke himself and trying to get through on Axel, and yeah, cost him both the race here today. And I can imagine some frustration from that. We'll have to see. But I imagine everyone is going to pit here now as well. It's a good thing the Ryan B has a bit of a gap behind. Might not put in much of the double stacking, which would usually cost Ryan B quite a lot here, but I'd imagine that he's gonna be saved by that, because he does have the gap to Steban right now, who seems to be backing off for some reason. Now flying into it, almost hitting the wall there on the left as well. Can make quite a tricky pit entry, but once again, if you're doing it on the safety car, just take it easy. There's no point in that. Camke is, interestingly enough, gone onto another set of soft tires. So he's going to probably opt for a soft medium, I'd imagine. Ibo in the meantime has stayed out, and Ibo is going to be in P2 in the race. That makes it interesting, definitely. Bosnia is coming out. He is on the hard, yeah. But he is going to be... Oh, Mr. Pro's racked up a drive around another 5 second there. Oh dear. But at least Bosnia, he's not really been screwed over that much from that. It might not be in the best tires here, but he's at least got the track position, and the tire choice was on himself, I guess, so you can argue that. From that, the track positions haven't changed that much yet, just Ibo in P2 currently is the only one who stayed out. So That could be a bit of a nuisance there, unless he decides to pit this lap. So we're going to see. Cam K is going to be very happy, I think, and he's going to try to pull away once again. Interestingly enough, MCR has followed Cam K in doing the same thing. He's gone into a set of softs. Might entice him to try and get some moves done. Maybe get closer to the back of Cam K. Just be there in case of another safety car. He'll be interesting to keep an eye out on. But everyone else, mostly in mediums. We're seeing James Head on hards, Harnowark on hards, Serial Killer on hards, Ultimate and Energetics the back as well on hards. Obviously, Energetics doesn't have to pit anymore. Could make it out. Mr. Burrow has made 2 stops. He could make it out. There's a long way to go on hards, 20 laps, but you know what? If you're at the back anyway and you want to try something different, it might be the way to go for it. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if we see anyone else pitting once again this lap to try and do the same thing roughly. Hopefully, giving up track position here could be a vital loss there, but we're going to have to see how the drivers think about that themselves. Let's see at the front. Ibo is staying out, so he's definitely committing to this. So we go further down the grid. So I think I see Matt's... Yeah, Matt has decided to go in. Swip is doing the same thing, so they might have potentially heard me. Potentially decided themselves, you know what, I'm going to make sure I get my 2 stops in. And then hopefully make sure it works. So Matt actually has a front wing change to do, so that might be part of his reasoning. He's gone back onto a set of mediums. Swip has decided to go into a set of hards. And Energetics has built out of the strategy so far. She's going to a different set of tires, which is mediums, which I don't think are making it from here, but you're welcome to try it. We're gonna have to see though. So yeah, we'll have to see how Cam K is going to restart this race. It's going to be down towards the last sector, obviously. He's going to be able to control the pace. Obviously, the Sector 2 split is quite late on, in terms of physical track that there is. So it's going to be a fairly slow restart, I reckon. Considering you can't obviously overtake the safety car. So you're going to have to just, you know, make sure you slow down enough you don't get throttle limited at the front. I'm gonna see if Cam K is gonna be able to hold on to his lead. Same with Ibo and P2. There's a little bit of a buffer there, and he could get away quite easily, I reckon. We're gonna see. Safety car should be in this lap. So we have a few gaps here that are being created, which is I think delaying the restart potentially. This could be a bit of a weird one. Yep, there we go, safety car in this lap. That's what happens when you don't quite retain the proper gaps. And that means we have a very late restart that's being called up. But Cam K is taking control of it. Taking it slow enough. Still on the brake, we've seen it just coming in on the right hand side of the screen. There we go. When is he going to go? He can go at the start finish line. There he goes. And I get restart there for the Red Bull, and Ibo just dropping immediately back off there. Just a bit weird. Going very deep into turn 1. You don't cause any carnage there. But everyone seems to be able to get through pretty easily. Ibo's just gone off track there as well, so causing a little bit of havoc there. So we've seen MCR trying to make moves immediately on Steven and on Bosnia potentially. Later on the brakes into turn 5, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but it looks all okay there. So you head down towards turn 6. On the soft, does he have enough grip to go around the outside here? Could be difficult for the both of them to retain there. Bosnia getting a bit unsettled over the curb. So he remains side by side, come through turn 9. Good action there between the two. It's obviously not easy to keep it side by side, but they've done well to do it. And they're still at it, but I think Bosnia is now conceding the position. And MCR has got through into P3, which I think he feels is very vital. So then towards turn 12, hitting the curb a little bit there, but looks okay. The Red Bulls in the meantime have gotten away, 1.1 between them and 1.7 down to MCR. And MCR now back under pressure because these guys are going to have slipstream, maybe lower wings, you never know. And we're going to see Bosnia try and get back at MCR potentially. He's backing out of it. Steban might feel like he wants to get through, but he doesn't want to right now. That's going to be it for now. Mats and Nims and Energetics fighting away. Mats getting through on Energetics there. James is, I think, making a little bit of a mistake and dropping 2 positions behind his teammate in IoT Crack. Down to P10 he is, and his teammate's trying to make more moves after that earlier wing change. Sent it down the inside of IoT Crack. Late in the break, but it looks like Crack can hold on to that one pretty easily. Steban on the back of Bosnia for P4. Bosnia nearly hitting the wall there, just about making use of all the track there. And it's actually got him a very good exit, which allows him to pull away from Steban enough. Mats keeps on being on the rise there. Slayer is the next one that has a conceded position there. With now Zero Killer up ahead on Hearts. A little bit of a gap to the train up ahead. Seeing both of Romeo's. I think Mr. Pearl has actually gone straight on at turn 5. Just trying to rejoin the track now. MCR doesn't seem to have the pace of the top 2. The Red Bulls are just absolutely clear. I feel like I'm watching real life Formula 1 to some degree. But I've already got 2 seconds down to MCR. They just have the pace advantage right now. Sveirol's having a bit of a moment there on the exit, I think. Bosnia might want to get back through here on MCR. The rest of his tires might already go pretty soon. And Mr. Wouter trying to get through on Steban. And Bosnia is going through on MCR, but MCR trying to hold on to that position for now. And he does that pretty successfully. Mr. Wouter actually spinning around there. Not quite sure what the exact cause of that. Might have hit the curb, might have just gone settled there. Maybe he had some contact, we don't know. Can't see it. So Bosnia wants to retain in behind MCR for now. It's Crack. Doesn't want to retain in behind Harnoark, and he gets through into P6 now. He's got a bit of a gap to Steban to make up, but should be able to do that, given his pace seems to be pretty solid right now. Mr. Router's Hero Killer now fighting for P11. Serial trying to get through here on the Dutchman, but with no ERS once again, that's going to be a very difficult task to do. We're fighting in mind between the Dutchies of Energetic and past Slayer actually. Both of Romeo's being in the pit, not a great race for them once again. Have a look, MCR has now decided to bold it, and Bosnia seems to be struggling a little bit more this lap. Potentially having made a mistake, I'm not too sure. But using a bit more ERS there. Potentially having a bit more straight line speed. I can't quite tell exactly. So Ryan B is trying his absolute best to get in the DRS of Camk. Camk maintaining that him just out of sight of that. In the meantime, Steban has smelled his chances and he's trying to get alongside Bosnia here. Bosnia trying to fight this as much as he can, and they're both closing up massively, and MCR is going to get 2 for the price of 1 down. And let's see who's going to get up into P3 here. Steban down the inside, backs out of it. Bosnia retains that position. Goes a bit deep here, Steban. It looked like it was maybe some contact. Didn't quite look natural what he was doing. More yellow flags. The Swift is having issues at turn 12. He looks to have recovered the car. MCR trying to get back at Steban down the outside of turn 1. Can Steban hold on to the position? Looks like it, but MCR's got the switchback. And he's got underneath the Alpine. Let's see, running outside of turn 3 this time out. Still side by side. Bit of a slide there for the McLaren. He has to back out of that one for now. And his teammate is coming up right behind him. Let's see how they're going to work this one out here. Crack showing his nose, but backing out of that one. And smartly so, I think. But the softs are not at their max anymore. You can see it already. They're dropping off pretty quickly. A bit further down, Harnoark is still holding on here, as well as James said, both on the hard tyre. They could go a bit longer, potentially be on fresh tyres at the end. Swingingly enough, seeing Ryan B and Camk trying to jostle for this DRS. He's got a better air. I think Ryan B got a good enough exit that he's going to be in this time. Yes, he is. I think that's vital. I think the softs for Kamke as well are not optimum. And we've seen it for MCR as well. He's already dropped out nearly off the DRS. It still has us for this point. But Crack is getting alongside and trying to take advantage here. And is he gonna? Are the teammates gonna fight each other here? That'll be interesting to see. Yes, they are. It looks like it. Side by side for the chicane. That's gonna be very tight there. Bit of contact. It looks like MCR's got out ahead. Crack struggling to keep that car on track. It's like down towards turn 1 there might be more fighting going on. Crack closing up with the slipstream. Using ERS even though he doesn't have much. Flashing on the back of the McLaren. There is Crack down the inside. This time out. I think he has more grip. Yes, he does. And through is he into P5. MCR dropping back now. And we're seeing as the front as well. Ryan B is trying to go for a move on Kamke. Kamke backing out of that one. Not trying to fight that. And taking his loss for the time being. Two McLaren still added a little bit. But Crack holding on to P5 as well. And his job is now to catch Steban and Bosnia out. See if he can get through on them. Yeah, meanwhile, the Red Bulls build up a gap for 4.5 seconds there to the rest of the grid. And unsurprisingly, no one is quite able to catch him right now. Seeing Eagles, Mats and Mr. Outer still trying to catch this train. It's going to be quite difficult to do. Obviously, they're all DRS leapfrogging off each other practically. Which means to just keep on passing each other and one gets DRS, and that's just going to help so much around this track. We've seen Steban trying to go through this one. I don't think this time he's going to back out of it. Kamke's got back through in the lead as well. Steban into P3. RT Crack wants to take advantage. He is through on Bosnia here. I think Bosnia is going to just wait his chance out. MCR and Harry Noir now fighting and seeing that the hards are maybe now better than the softs as well. Arnoark having a bit moment there on the exit though. I think Jason might have hit the back of him, but don't think it affected him too much. Ripples staying in 1 and 2. Steban going defensive against Crack. Crack on the switchback though. Through turn 2. Has to wait for us because Steban's exit was actually pretty good. More yellow flag. Just I think Mr. Purro's gone through. At turn 12 once again. Ryan B trying to get this move done on Kamke. And quite easily so. Into P1 he goes. Crack and Steban side by side. Crack taking it around the outside. Good move. Big moment on the exit though. But retains the position. Bosnia's actually trying to... Nearly looked like he tried to get alongside, and I think he went too late on the brakes. Hits the back of Steban. Steban has gone round. No damage, but a lot of time lost there for the Alpine. And coming out actually with his teammate there in P9. That's unfortunate to see for the Alpine. He's going to have some work to do to catch back up. I'm not sure whose fault that was. I think both were respectively early and late in the brakes. I don't quite know. I didn't quite get the best view of it. Meanwhile, we've seen Kamke go back through and Ryan B. I think they're just going to keep doing this at this rate. That's created a few gaps within the train though. They're about 8, 9, 10s, and it's getting more and more difficult to keep up with your respective cars around you. James is trying to go for a move, but thinks better of it for now. Waits it out here. Potentially down to turn 1, he might think differently. Let's see. I think he should be able to get through quite easily here. The softs just aren't good anymore. He gets alongside, so we have more yellow flags. Energetics going around, and we have a safety car. That's just going to allow for a pretty easy second stop for practically the entire grid. Yeah, Energetics going round, I think. Standing still for about 20 seconds. That's where the trademark is for him, as he drifts his way out of there. Yeah, no front wing there. He's going to come in and change that right now. See, Mr. Wouter going to harsh, circular onto mediums. Energetics getting it just about stopped there. Mr. Wouter probably having some sort of damage, dropping back behind Circular. Softs for Energetics. Interesting choice. Long way to go on softs, it's possible, but... You know what? Daring, I like it. He's going to at least be able to catch back up. Which is important. Both Red Bulls are going to have to double stack, but with the gap they have, I don't think it's going to matter even in the slightest. The ones losing out potentially Matt, but again he's a gap behind. The only one he might lose out to is maybe Serial Killer, I'd imagine. James might lose out to Harry Noirk here, potentially Steven as well. MCR goes the same because he's not far behind Crack. And James obviously not far behind Sway Ross, so I'd imagine those two are not going to be too happy about this. We're going to have to see. I expect most of the people go on mediums for the second, last stint. Excuse me. But I can see a fair few maybe trying something different on the hards. Obviously, Mr. about to go there. Let's see, and I'd be even more surprised if anyone doesn't pit, because I don't think that'd be smart. Yeah, and everyone's in. Kamki onto mediums, he's obviously used to softs. Ryan B onto mediums, just releasing there. Seeing soft fire to Crack, he's trying something different, definitely. Everyone else on the mediums, I think. Looks as if. Let's see, I think a slight few changes, as I said. MCR lost out to Steven and Harry Work, then to P8, and James had losing out to, I think, both as well. Then to P9. I think Steven actually jumped Harry Work in the pits here. He's gained 3 positions from that. I don't think he can complain. But yeah, the big outlier here is IRT Crack and P3 on the softs. He's obviously going to try the challenge. Obviously with the qualifying ban, getting up at the P3 in the first place is very good from him. He's shown his space. If he can keep the softs alive and show that he can fight them, he might be a threat to the Red Bulls 1-2 here today. Which I can see happen. Axel leaving the session, we saw Flip that do that earlier. So Energetics has come back into the pits now. And has retired under a safety car. Potentially rear wing damage is the only thing I can imagine. Even then, there's a decent chance you get points. Like, maybe a bit of a weird choice, I don't know. Meantime, Swip is one who hasn't actually pitted, I don't think. He's on all the hards. Does he still have to stop? He doesn't. But I don't think staying out on these 8-lap old hards is going to bring him anything, so I'd expect him to go into pit, especially if you see the gap he has to Slayer. It's the only one he might really lose out to. So, he can get some fresh short tires now. Try and get himself a little bit of an advantage. Potentially softs, potentially mediums. We'll have to see what the Dutchman's going to do. And then Energetic saying, yeah, he has rear wing damage, so that's understandable, I guess. It's not easy to drive, especially around a track like this, I'd imagine. But yeah, that's another Dutchman out of the Grand Prix. As well as Flip, obviously, earlier, and Axel, the Greek. So let's see, Swip, yeah, he's going to go into the pits, probably listening in on me. I wouldn't blame him. It's just the smartest thing to do at this point, and a pretty obvious thing to do as well. Just get off those 8-lap old hards. Get yourself some fresh short tires on. I think we're seeing mediums there, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, firm wing change as well, so didn't make so much sense. Yeah, 1-lap old mediums is a lot better than 8-lap old hards there. Only losing out to Slayer, maybe Ibo here as well, actually. It's going to be close there. But at least you got some fresh tires to fight with. Yeah, then to P15 he is going to go. As everyone has now made at least 2 stops, some even 3. Hopefully everyone will want to go to the end from here, barring any further safety cars. I'm going to see if anyone's actually going to be surprising in terms of their pace. So obviously the Red Bulls are so far been quite superior in terms of that. But they now have a McLaren on softs right behind them. Has seemed to be pretty quick as well, just having to fight through people. And we're gonna see if he can challenge the top 2 here for the race win. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ryan B is going to gift Kamke this race win or not. Obviously, Kamke in the championship fight, Ryan B might want to get him into that himself, and obviously, you know, if you can get that race win, it's a few extra points. You never know when that can come in handy. But at the same time, it's your teammate you're fighting. Is that going to be the case here? Once again, gaps being left is going to lead to a late safety car restart here. And we're going to see how Kamke approaches his second one. He went basically at the little curve, turn 17. Is he going to do the same here? So Mr. Pro is sitting off quite a bit there at the back. He's going to have to wait, but Kamke went a little bit earlier this time. And Crack seems to be awake. He's going to get himself on the back of Ryan B immediately down towards turn 1. Around the outside. Does he have enough? We have some yellow flags here and there. Crack around the outside. Solid move there for the McLaren. I think he's got that one done more and more. MCR is actually going round through turn 1. He is at the back of the grid now. His teammate is making moves though. Trying to get ahead of Ryan B. Still side by side down towards turn 5. Let's see who's going to come out on top here. Ryan B with a car, half a car length ahead, but Crack with a bit of grip through the corner. Let's see, still side by side. It looks like Crack's got this one now done. He's up at the P2 and now got Kamke to chase after, but MCR and James had both dropping down to 14th and 15th. Let's see, did they have any damage there? Don't think so. They might have just been tapped around or gone round in turn 1 and 2. And they're going to have a bit of ground to make up both of them to try and get back into a solid position. We'll have to see if they can do that. Crack has immediately put on the gas and he's right on the back of Kamke. And I think Kamke, he's not going to fight this. He's going to think, wait till your tires are dead and then go for it. But we're going to see. Kamke, yeah, holding on to his ERS quite a lot there. Having more straight line speed than the McLaren. Look at that. Crack is not easily getting alongside there. Side by side down towards there. Kamke backing out of that one. Smartly done, I think. Cracking went pretty deep. Ryan B might now smell a chance though, but backing off that one for now. It's all going to put them back together. Is Crack now going to be able to break DRS to Kamke? Because that's exactly what he's going to have to do to try and make this work. Because otherwise it's going to be quite useless. At least give it a go. MCR's gone through Mr. Burrow and he's up at the P13. James in the pits now. With a fresh set of stalls potential with a front wing change as well. Not quite actually. Win that one out. So James is just going to have a lot of things to catch. I don't exactly know where to go on soft at this stage then. But you know what. Might just try something different I guess. Got a lot of time to catch though. 20 seconds to the back practically. Let's see a wing change, but that's a long time. Crack immediately has opened up the gap to Kamke, and 1.2 seconds is plenty there. Kamke has tried to stay in, given his ERS potential gone down a little bit, but has not managed to, and he's in the meantime nearly dropped his teammate. Might have actually done that. I'm not too sure if he was in or not at the DRS line. Obviously, this lap there's no DRS yet, so it's not quite as relevant. In the meantime, MCR is just trying to make his way back through. Mr. Wild's gone for a zero killer. He's once again out of ERS fully. How do you do that 2 laps into a restart? That's impressive. MCR trying to get through on Swip and just later on the brakes there, the Spaniard. No challenge there. Good move there from him. Swip trying to get back on the inside there. It's the Slayer, sorry. Wrong horse. Yeah, Slayer has actually managed that. That was so surprised when I saw him there. He's absolutely fully cut the track there. Now Slayer, yeah, he broke too late. Nearly gone round. He kept it at the wall, luckily. But that doesn't seem like the greatest thing he could have done there. And now dropping position to Mr. Burrow. And nearly to Swip here as well. Just side by side down towards turn 5. It's going to remain as is. MCO's got a bit of a gap to bridge here. 4 seconds to the next 2 cars and then another 2 seconds. So he's got his work cut out for him. Does he want to resolve a bit of a points margin here? We're going to have to see. The gap now between Crack and Kamke is 1.6, 1.7. I saw Kamke go back in towards turn 1, but then it's fallen back out now. I think he's got more straight line speed than the McLaren. McLaren pretty high on downforce. We can see this on the straight here. Not a lot of usage by Kamke, but he's gaining quite a lot here. The American just on low wings here. And in the meantime, we're seeing Swayros up for a move into P4. The Mercedes trying to make his way past Bosnia and successfully doing so. And he's back at where he was near the beginning of the race, behind the two Red Bulls. And he's got a good run here actually on Ryan B. And he's going to make use of it, using the ERS to try and get closer and try and bunch us up. Let's see how he's going to play this, because this is an all place to try and get alongside. Swayros fastest lap of the race there. He's going to opt for stay behind for now. Ryan B doing some good defensive work there. Well, let's see on the exit here. I think we might see Ryan B trying up for a move past Kamke. Using the DRS at least. Using the ERS as well. Try and get through. Kamke backing out of that one. Very late on the brakes there. Weirdly there. But Ryan B into P2 now. Swayros is going to smell the chance and he's going to try to get through. But it's not going to be the easiest thing to do in the world. We're going to have to see where he's going to opt to do it. Obviously on the straight, if you can pressure, there's always going to be a car without DRS. Get yourself at least in the position to be able to make moves. We're going to have to see if he's able to do that. It looks like MCR is not gaining on this train whatsoever. In fact, he's more so losing. He was about 6 seconds behind the train. He's now roughly, if we're just going to check the leader gaps, he is about 9 seconds off. So losing a lot of time. Red Bull swapping back. Kamke back ahead. Seeing that straight line speed advantage come in there. Swayros is wanting to go for a move. Gets himself alongside Ryan B. Down towards in the braking zone. He's going to be closed down towards the chicane there. Ryan B getting squeezed out there. Hopefully no damage for either of them. I don't think so. A little bit of near collision. I don't know if there was contact. But Swayros into P3. That's what he was wanting to accomplish. And I think he's done that. And now he's got Kamke up ahead. So the Red Bulls don't have much control over this anymore. Not as much. Ryan B got back through actually from Swayros. And Bosnia has the back of Swayros and Swayros is into the wall. I'm not sure what happened there. It almost looked like Swayros wanted to let Ryan B back through. And then Bosnia didn't quite anticipate it. And then just smacked into him. He's got wing damage there. It's very close to serial killer here. But yeah, damage for the Mercedes, and that's going to put him down in 10th position behind serial killer now. MCR very close behind now as well. So it's not ideal for the Swede here. And he's going to have to wait it out to see here. Gets back past serial killer there on the inside and now the outside of 9. Which is a very impressive move actually there. But yeah, that's very unfortunate to see. He was up in the fight and not quite able to finish it off. Ryan B has lost DRS here to Kamke, and Bosnia might see this advantage and try and go for it. Let's see. MCR's got through on serial killer, but here goes Bosnia. Now to the outside. I think Ryan B doesn't have much of a fight to put up. Yeah, Bosnia is into P3. Ryan B down in P4. Not quite beating up, and MCR has now lost a few positions as we have Ibo going around in turn 12. See more side by side action between Mr. Purr and serial killer here. MCR wanting to get through on the outside here. He has done so. Bit of nervous driving, but he's done it. And now he's got Mr. Purr to get past. One of the Haas drivers, that's Slayer, going round as well. Maybe gone too deep into the chicane, I'd imagine. It's the other thing I can see from there. And well, Kamke's called back up to Crack. The softs not being as good as they were at the start of the safety car restart, and it looks like he's paying the price for it now. And Kamke is going to have to play this well to try and get this win, because Crack is obviously not going to give this up easily. Kamke actually making a mistake there. Losing quite a lot of time by doing it. Bosnia not quite able to get closer to Red Bull. He does want to get in DRS here. Make sure that turn 12 is good, but I think the same goes for Kamke, so they're not going to hold back here. Let's see if there's anyone with a lot of ERS still here. That's not really the case. Everyone beyond Bosnia is below 50%. So Bosnia holds on to his ERS properly, sits close enough, and makes the right decisions. There's a good chance he has a chance at it. Obviously, Kamke has a low straight line speed, as we can see now. Here he goes, and into the lead. But I can't count Bosnia out of it. Let's see, because Mats is trying to make moves as well. Past Harnemark into P6. We're going to have 5-6 for Alpines right now. Crack is wanting to get back through here. On Kamke, get himself nearly alongside. Let's tuck back into the slipstream, but down towards turn 1, he's going to go for it. Use his DRS. Later on the brakes he goes. He wants to fight this. Kamke seemingly just doesn't. He's not that interested in fighting it. He just wants to be in the right position at the right time. And that might put him vulnerable, because Bosnia is not too far away either. And I reckon the Alpines are pretty feisty as well here today. Let's see how that's going to go. So we have just under 4 laps remaining here. This could be a pretty entertaining end to the Grand Prix here. Well, let's see how it's going to go. Both Red Bulls still in this train, but obviously not at the front anymore, so they can't quite control it, as I said earlier. It's going to be a bit more difficult for them to try and get this win. Harnemark now at the back of this train, struggling a little bit to keep up here. In 7th place, he has driven a very good race here. Let's see if he can get better than 7th here today. We're going to see back towards the front, because I think Kamke is going to opt for another move. And this time, is Bosnia close enough? He might be. Kamke is through. Bosnia might want to get through. He is waiting it out this time. I think Crack putting his car a little bit defensive as help there. Is hit by in the back by Brian B, I think. I'd imagine. Ryan B is now using ERS. See. Ooh. I'm not quite sure. Ryan B looking down the inside, but yeah, there's not quite a move there. It looked like Bosnia was hit. I'm not going to take the assumption, but that didn't look quite natural, the way he was hit on the back there. Steven is now trying to get involved here, and is on the back of Ryan B. Then towards turn number 5. Could be a move in the cards, but I think he's too far away to try it. Ryan B later on the brakes once again. Very aggressive there, actually. Trying to get closer to Bosnia here. Then towards turn 7 is a very difficult place to overtake, so let's wait that out. He thinks, I reckon. The top 6 still together here. And obviously, if you're a bit further down, 4th, 5th, 6th, this is about the point where you want to start making some moves. If you're going to wait too long, you're not going to have much to go for. The only thing you can do then is just wait and hope people ahead of you mess up, and then benefit from it. We're going to have to see. You have a couple of straights left to go, and Crack is going to opt for the move back on Kamke, I think. Is Bosnia going to wait this out? I think so. I'd imagine he's not going to want to get past Kamke immediately, but he might go for it. He's got a lot of gaining speed. Kamke wants to stay ahead, I think. Yeah, Bosnia doesn't look too interested in trying to get the move done immediately. Kamke going a bit deep. Slight mistake there from the American. Bosnia right in the back here now. And he's going to be so eager to use that ERS, but he's waiting it out. And Ryan B is going to be on the back here as well. So if he's not careful, he's going to have to defend as well. This could be a very entertaining last 2 laps of the race. Who's going to come out on top here? I see Crack currently on the softs. Very impressive, by the way. He's keeping these softs working. Somehow, this long into the Grand Prix. And Bosnia looks to benefit from his chance, but look at the straight line speed Kamke has. Oh my! Oh, this is going to be so difficult for anyone else to try and win this, because Kamke's straight line speed, as long as he keeps it in a straight line and close enough to a point where he can try and overtake Crack on the last straight on the last lap, or one of the last straights, you're really not going to get much out of him. Kamke now struggling a little bit through that section, you can see it, but look how easily he's going to gain the time back here. When yellow flags, Ibo's now retired from the session, meaning that everyone who finishes scores points now. I think Ibo will still be classified there. So that's at least something, I guess. But here we go down towards turn number 14. I'm going to see who gets the better of this. Kamke is going to easily get through and crack. I think this is the moment Bosnian wants to capitalize and get through on the McLaren. And yes, he thinks so. He's going to use that ERS to the outside, but he doesn't seem to be cleanly through. Crack is still trying to fight that. This might allow Bosnia to have to back out there. Crack being a bit of a slide there. I think this is the time. And Bosnia is going to want to use his ERS and get away. Kamke is using the same thing, but Ryan B is got involved. Ryan B is now on the outside here. And this is always going to be free wide down towards turn 1. Who's going to get the better of here? Looks like they're all keeping it clean actually. Bosnia staying out of trouble there. Still side by side are Ryan B and Crack. It's going to allow Kamke to pull away here. I think Bosnia has not made the right decision here, not fully committing to that move. And there's contact there between Ryan B and Crack. Not seeing each other there. And Bosnia's going to get through. There's more contact on the straight. Be careful, please. Because that seems just a bit rash. Definitely damage there for Ryan B. I think definitely for Crack, I'd imagine as well. More contact. Steven's now going to get through. And he is looking good for podium there. So Ryan B breaks early. More and more contact here and there. Matt's getting involved as well. And Crack is going round at this point. I think Crack just getting too eager at that point. But yeah, Ryan B and Crack on the straight just not seeing each other. And now it's going to be... Oh, Crack has gone disqualified for going the wrong way. So actually Ivo will get a point in. But the top 2 are the only ones who can win this race. Kamke using that curb a bit too much, I think. And this could be vital. It does Bosnia have a chance here. He's got a lot of ERS. Kamke has a lot of straight line speed. Who's going to get the better of these two? The Red Bull's still ahead, but the DRS is going to be enabled, and he is derating the Red Bull. And Bosnia is going to get close up here to the back of Kamke, to the outside here. And Bosnia is going to opt for this race win. But is he going to hold on to it down into the chicane, late in the brakes? Looks confident, looks clean. And Kamke is going to have to come for a mile back. He's not going to do that. NSX Bosnia is going to win this race here in Las Vegas by playing that absolutely perfectly at the end. And coming across the line in first place, there he goes. Kamke in second, with Ryan B finishing at the podium position. Still have wing damage there. Steven in fourth, then it's Matt Harnewark, Mr. Wouter. Now we have to wait a while for Sway Ross here, who doesn't have a front wing anymore actually. But it makes you very straight, quick in a straight line at least, we can see. He's going to come out in P8. MCR with a bad race here, P9. And Swip is going to round out the top 10 here ahead of Zero Killer. James Head. Mr. Purr might have a few penalties still, only 3 seconds, so he's going to come home in 13th. And Slayer's going to be in 14th, with Ibo getting a last point for his troubles as well, with Crack getting disqualified for going the wrong way. But NSX Bosnia, he'll be very happy with that one, I think. And he's absolutely managed that to perfection there at the end. Making sure he gets that race win, make sure he holds onto the ERS to the last point. And even while it was looking like he was not going to get it, he still made sure to close up for the second sector. And he's absolutely done that amazingly. I think he'll be extremely happy, and he can be. That's exactly how you should play your race, especially towards the end of the Grand Prix. He's safe to win ahead of Kamke and Red Bull. Still getting a 2-3, still going to expand their lead in the constructors there. Steven and Matt in 4th and 5th. Solid race from the both of them, as well as Harnewark. Mr. Wouter having a bit of a spin earlier on, but in 7th, still a solid recovery drive. Swayros 8th and a fastest lap point as well. The pole position point obviously going to Kamke. MCR in P9, he's going to have to recover a long way from here. Still a fair few races to do it, but we're going to have to see. Swip in P10, the Zero Killer in 11th. James in P12, with a very quiet race from him. Mr. Pro in 13th, and Slayer 14th. Ibo getting a last point in 15th. Then it's Energetics, Flip, Axel, DNFing, and Cracking disqualified for going the wrong way. And yeah, just with the last lap chaos, that is just not too great to do that. Not sure how that ended up like that, but he's down in 19th. And I think that is going to be it for me here today. Obviously a very, very entertaining race actually towards the end. A little bit cleaner on driving standards. Obviously the last lap was a bit of a mess there. Coming down towards turn 5, I think. Just looked like a bit of unawareness from Maybe both sides, maybe one side. The stewards will have to look at that if that gets reported. Um, but that is it's going to be for me today. Next week out, we have Belgium sprint weekends, so prepare for yet another bit of chaos. Obviously, a track that the driver should know well enough, so let's hope that at least will help them a little bit here and there. And I think Kamke is going to be very happy with his race, even though not winning it, still gaining, from the top of my head, 18 points on MCR. I don't think that can hurt whatsoever. So he's going to have more than a race win lead actually in the championship. Looking at it, 32 points if I'm not mistaken. So MCR's got his work cut out for him, but we know he's been very quick, very consistent when he needs to be. And that's we're going to see if he can counter back in the next few races. I think you're Verstappen. This has been League of Europe Division 3, and see you next time out. Good time.